See my screen, right?
Yeah, it's visible.
Okay. So, Manish, yesterday what we have covered only binding modes and binding types in JSON model, especially, right? So apart from that, nothing else we have covered. So you have any questions or queries? Anything you
No,
want to discuss here?
no, no. Like all the doubts are clear.
Hmm. Okay, but at least, did you get a chance to go through the video or any that source code, whatever I've shared yesterday?
Yes, I just have a looked over that element bindings and this
Mm,
absolute binding, unity binding. So
mm,
yeah, so it was pretty clear to me, but
mm.
I need to practice on that part. I
Yes,
just
yes. See this binding types and binding modes. Not binding mode. Binding mode. Yes, that it depends. Okay, it's not used that much, but binding types is there, right? That is hardly, mostly that is only used binding types. Okay, element binding and aggregation binding, these two bindings are highly used. Property binding, yes, it's not that much, it's just kind of optional. You can directly bind it through the view. Why you need a bind property method to call in order to fix this?
yes. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, you just need a practice. Take some time, at least maybe not to today, maybe tomorrow. At least take some time, half an hour, and practice on daily basis. At least give half an hour. Okay, I'm
Yes,
not
yes.
saying that spend entirely after 2 or 3 hours. No.
Mhm. Sure, sure.
Okay, so fine. Yeah, so we have covered all the topics from the JSON model. So now we can start with the resource model. Okay. So once we complete with the resource model, then we'll start with formatter and expression binding. So looks like no one is going to join, but yeah, in 1 hour we can at least start with this resource model concept.
Yeah,
Okay.
resource model will do. Okay, sure.
Okay. So before I start with the resource model, right? So this resource model works with only one concept, that is I18. Okay. So we have a concept of I18 in SAP UI5. So I18 is nothing but internationalization. Okay. As a name suggests, I18n. Okay, I means it is a first character or first alphabet of word internationalization. 18 means sorry, then after I18n. So at the end, the last character is n. So the last alphabet of the word internationalization is n. Okay, I and n. So what about the 18? 18 means that are the 18 characters which are falling between the first character I and the last character n. Okay, that's how the concept they have named as I18n. Okay, one second, let me open this so that it would be more clear. Okay, so in SAP UI5 we have a concept of I18n. Okay, so this I means it is first character of word internationalization. Okay, then sorry, one second, this. Okay, then we have n. N means it is a last character of word. Okay, and then what about the 18? 18 means the total number of characters between the first character I and the last character n. Okay, so that's how this name means. If I elaborate this word, right, I18n. So it is nothing but it is a internationalization. So what is internationalization in SAP UI5? Internationalization means that you're going to keep all of your applications hard coded text. Okay, you're going to store or you're going to save your all of your hard coded text of your application. Hard coded means the text that you are going to use in your entire app. It can be anything like the label of the field. Okay, the label of button. Okay, the label or the title or the header of the tab or the title of the panel, anything. So any word or any hard coded text, if you're able to see, and which will be translated. Okay, in future, if let's say if your client is expecting that this hard coded text, it needs to be translated in different languages. Okay, and all of that text, the text which is going to translate or which is not going to translate, all the hard coded text. Okay, that you're going to store in the central place. So that concept is nothing but internationalization. Okay, that means your text of your applications are available in one central location, and after that the translation will happen. Okay, a translator can easily translate all the text into the different languages. Okay, it just I18 is nothing but it is just a abbreviation for internationalization. So far it's clear.
Yes, yes, Avik, it's clear.
Okay.
So, the user logins to some different languages like
Mm,
Chinese or Japanese. So that
mhm.
time, this I18 helps to translate those characters
Yes,
or sentences.
it needs to translate those characters or that hard coded text into the different languages. But how it will
Mhm.
translate? First of all, we need to maintain that language specific file. Okay, if that language specific file is available, and if you have already added the values based on the different languages. Okay, if that values are already available in that file, then only that translation will take place. Okay, let's consider basically by default English language is there for each and every label, right? So it's a commonly used highly language, English. But let's consider you have some customers or the clients which they are going to use in Chinese or in French language. Okay, so now as of now you didn't maintain any I18 resource file. Okay, so we generally call that language files as a resource bundle file in SAP UI5. Okay, that name of the file is resource bundle file. Okay, if that resource bundle file is not maintained for Chinese or French language, so what will happen? So whether the translation will happen? No, the translation will won't happen. Okay, so for that translation, right? So if that language specific file is not maintained in your UI5 app or inside that project, so the translation will won't happen. Okay, rather than that, it will display the English language. Okay, because English language is a default language, and then that's what it is maintained as of now. So only that language it will be displayed, or otherwise the whatever the hard coded text. If you are not maintaining this hard coded text in central place, so whatever hard coded text that you have already specified to that control, so that will be displayed. Okay, without any translation. So generally what
Okay.
happens, this translation, if you want this translation to happen, so in SAP UI5 manually we have to maintain resource bundle files in the project, in UI5 project. If that resource bundle files are missing, then for sure, whatever the default language is there, that only it will take. But that also it depends whether that values, if you have maintained in one resource bundle file or not. If it is not maintained, and rather than that, at the time of control declaration, if you have already provided the hard coded text, so that only it will be displayed. Okay. So what I'm trying to say. So for example, in this view.xml file, if you consider, okay, in this view.xml file, so let's consider this button control. Okay, so I have directly provided the hard coded text. Rather than maintaining this hard coded text in one resource bundle file, I have directly provided the hard coded text to this button. So for such controls, okay, what will happen? It will display the text as it is. It won't translate. Okay, but let's consider rather than providing this hard coded text in this button itself, if I'm going to store this text in one place or in one file. Okay, so from that I'm just going to provide a path so that then that text will appear in this button control. So if I'm following that process, then only this translation will happen. Okay. But if you're like this, as of now, I have directly provided the text, right? In this case for the button. So this text will appear as it is. Your translation will won't happen. Okay. But on top of that, if you want the translation to be happen, so first of all, we need to maintain different language files. Okay. Language resource bundle files. If that files are available, then only the translation will happen. It's not like that I have just maintained only one language and it's going to translate in different language. No, for every language, whichever the client is going to use or he wants that application to be translated. So that resource bundle file needs to be maintained inside the project folder. If it is not maintained, that for sure your translation will won't happen. Okay, it won't work. So far it's clear, the basic.
Yes, Abhi.
Okay, so now how this process is carried over, how this process is done. Okay, that the language translation and all, and the maintenance of hard-coded text. So generally, this mechanism is divided in three parts. One is the resource bundle, second one is your resource model, and the third one is your actual controls who will consume those hard-coded text into the application. Okay, so this mechanism is divided in three parts. One is the resource bundle, second one is resource model, and the third one is the controls. So what is the resource bundle? So resource bundle means it is the file. Can you see the file? Okay,
Yes.
i18n dot properties. So whatever the files, if you're able to see the files which has the extension dot properties. Okay, so those files are nothing but your resource bundle files. Okay, the files which will provide you the resource. Okay, it is a file which inside which whatever the text you want to translate it, right? So those text you will maintain inside the bundle files, inside this resource bundle files. Okay, so let me open this resource bundle file. Okay, so this is your default resource bundle file. Okay, as of now, if you see, there is no language or there is no language acronym we have specified for this file. Okay, so whenever if you are not able to see any language acronym in the naming convention of this file, it means this is your default resource bundle file. Okay, so this is your default resource bundle file. So now I'm just opening this resource bundle file. If you look at the structure, it is a flat structure. There is no structure of object in this, right? Can you see any structure like object that I have used opening and closing curly brackets, and inside that I have declared the values. Then I
No.
have used comma, nothing like that. Okay, it
Mhm.
is a flat structure. So whatever the values you will store, right? So that values are stored in flat structure. Okay. So now in this resource bundle file, if you look at the hash, wherever hash is maintained, right? So those are comments. Okay, those are comments which you can maintain. Okay, those are comments. Those are comments which are maintained in this resource bundle file. Okay, so after that, if you see, we have some values or we have some text which is displayed without hash. So that is nothing but it is a key. Can you see? For example, if you look at the example like app title, app description, and title. Okay, so all these three are nothing but it is a key. Okay, and inside this key you have provided one value with the help of equal to sign. Okay, so your value is nothing but your app title. Sorry, 1 second. Yeah, let's consider this. So now in this case, app description is nothing but your key. Okay, and the key, the value which this key is holding is this, a Fury application. Okay, so generally your key and value, it is specified or it is differentiated with the help of equal to sign in this resource bundle file. Okay, so in object, how it is differentiated with the help of colon, but in resource bundle file, let's say if you want to provide some value, right, to your key, it should be provided with the help of equal to sign. Okay, and the naming convention of your key, it should follow the camel case naming convention. Okay, So whatever the name you will provide, right, to your keys, it should be in camel case. The values, it can be anything. Okay, whether it can be in capital or small, it won't matter. But whatever the keys you will define, right, the keys, it should follow the camel case naming convention. So far it's clear, Manish?
Yes, Avik.
Okay. So now let's, okay, so this is nothing but it's your resource bundle file. Okay. So now the next part is resource model. So what resource model will do? So resource model, it's one kind of a model. Okay. It's one kind of a model where, so resource bundle is nothing but it is a one kind of a model which will act as a bridge. Okay. It will act as a bridge between your language resource bundle files and your controls. Okay, because at the end, let's consider I want to access this text. Okay, I want to fetch this information and I want to display this information on the controls. So who will act as a middleware? So your resource bundle will act as a middleware. Same like how the JSON model will act, means how the JSON model is working on the JSON data. Same like that for resource bundle language data, right? Or for this text, your resource model will act as a bridge. Okay, it will act as a bridge between this resource bundle file and the controls. So with the help of resource bundle, with the help of resource model, any developer, he can uh, easily bind this text or this information which we have stored in this i18n.properties file. Okay, this information you can easily pass and you can easily display this information into the controls with the help of resource model. Okay, so resource model is nothing but it is just like a middleware, or it's just like a bridge, which is helping us, which will help us to store this information in resource model. And from that resource model, with the help of data binding, we will display that text onto the controls. Okay, is that clear?
Yes, Avik, some part is clear. I think when we will see the example, it will be more clear.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so resource model is nothing but it is just storing that information, because as we say, resource model, it is a client side model. Okay, resource model, JSON model. So all this model, what they do, they generally store the information. Okay, they are acting as a container. Okay, which will store some information on the client level. So that are two session specific. Okay, that they are not going to make any changes in the original file. They are just a client side model. They will store the information temporarily. Okay, if the application closes, automatically whatever the data is stored right into that model, that will be destroyed. Okay, that will be cleared up. So that is the case. Okay, so by default, so what this, there are the binding modes, right? So default binding mode for resource model is one time. Only one time binding mode is supported for resource model. Okay, there is no two-way binding, there is no one-way binding. Only one-time binding is supported for the resource model. Because as soon as your application loads, whichever the file is getting matched, the resource bundle file is getting matched, that data will be stored into the resource model. And that information is only going to display, it is only going to displayed on the application. Okay, for the customer. Okay, fine.
Yes.
Okay, so now let's see how this will work, how the translation will work, and how the binding is done, and generally where we need to create a resource model, and that everything we will see now. So now in this project, so this project one we have created, right? So this is what the project we are looking from the start. So in this project, if you look, we have a separate folder of i18n. Okay, so as a best practice, always we have to create a separate folder for translation files or for resource bundle files. And that folder name, it should be i18n. Okay, because that concept is there, right? Internationalization. That concept is nothing but storing all of your hard coded and all of your translation text into one folder. Okay, at one place. So that folder is nothing but i18n. So inside this, if you look at it, we have one file, a default resource bundle file, which is nothing but i18n dot properties. So this resource bundle file, always they will have the extension in dot properties. Okay. So now this is the best practice. So the best practice would be create your separate i18n folder, and inside that you create your resource bundle files. Okay, inside that you generally store your resource bundle file. So after that, so now once your file is stored, the next thing is how to initialize your resource model, right? So that is the important thing. So now what they have done. So earlier, when the development was done on Eclipse or some WebID personal edition, okay, in WebID also we don't have to do, because as soon as you create your resource, as soon as you create your UI5 application, right, in this BAS or in WebID full stack or WebID personal edition, so automatically a resource model will be created and it will be initialized inside the JSON, inside the manifest.json file. Okay, if you look at it, the default in SAP.app, so it is one kind of a namespace under which they have already provided a default file or default path to the i18. Okay, so default file, it will always consider i18n.properties if none of the language translation files are available in this project. So always it will take i18n.properties file. So if I scroll down, right, so under the model section, you will see already a model is created, resource model. Okay, already the code is written for this. So what type of model it is? It is of type resource model. And what the resource bundle name is? It's coming from the project one. So project one is nothing but your project name. And this is your folder name and this is your file name. Okay. So already whatever the information it is required, right, that needs to be stored inside the resource model. So that path is already provided under the
Uh,
settings.
One doubt, Avik.
Mhm.
Uh, so you told that unless there is some other file is available, like suppose let's take an example of Chinese.
Mhm.
So we will have the Chinese file in the under the I18, and or it would be different, like it will be
Yeah,
stored
it
somewhere.
would be
So
different. Yes.
okay,
See, the
so we, Mhm.
initial
so
name of the file will be
Mhm.
same i18n. After that, it should be followed by the language acronym. Like for
Okay.
Chinese, it should be different. For French, it should be FR. For German, it should be G, something like that.
Okay, so my question is that supposedly we have one client whose business is across 100, more than 100 countries or 10 countries. Okay,
Mhm.
so we have one Chinese and one Japanese and different
Mhm.
German. Okay,
Mhm.
so for each we will have, suppose let's take an example of three countries, so German, Japanese, or Chinese. So
Mhm.
we will have the three files over here under the
Yes.
I18. Okay.
Yes.
Now, next question comes that so we are defining over in this JSON that we from which part we need to take the data. So now we are just putting like the project one dot I18 dot I18, and so it's specific to a I18. If we go
Fine.
above, we have seen that one I18, and so we have defined only I18 UN. You have to search it. So we are
Mm.
specifically informing the system that you have to take from this only. So how it will access to Chinese and Japanese and
Yeah.
German?
Yeah. So that is done internally by the API. Okay. So there is one API inside which means as this concept, right? It is already configured in such a way that if none of the files are see by default, it will consider this i18n. But let's consider if the browser's default language is in Chinese or French. So automatically, okay, automatically based on the internal logic, it will consider or it will pick that different file. Okay, so nowhere we are going to mention that. It's
Okay.
automatically going to take. Okay,
So this
it's handled through the
configuration,
API.
okay, so this configuration, what we have mentioned will be bypassed, you mean to say that? Or it
Yes,
will not be
yes.
considered?
Yeah,
Okay.
it will not be considered. Means how it will consider means let's consider you have two keys, two hard-coded text. Means let's consider the title. It's coming from the uh, let's consider the title. Okay, for title, one is the title, one is the subtitle. Okay, so this two information you have already stored inside the default language. Okay, But in Chinese language, you're storing only subtitle information. So in that case, what will happen? So your main title information is not available in Chinese resource bundle file. So automatically it will take the text, or it will consider the values from the default file, not from the Chinese, because that key is not available, right? And that value is not available inside that. So it will automatically consider the default file. And then for the subtitle, it will consider the Chinese file. Okay.
Okay.
So yeah, we will see that in few minutes. Okay. So at least so far it's clear that we have already a model created for resource model, and the model name for the resource model is the i18n. Okay. So
Mhm.
going forward, if I want to do the data binding, so I have to use this, or I have to provide this model name. Okay. So model
Okay.
name. So the type of model is the resource model. And after that, so there is the settings object inside which we need to provide the bundle name. Okay. So that bundle, the bundle name means the path of the file that they have provided. Okay, so this is the basic things that we have to do if I want to work with the resource model. So already it is been taken care at the time of project creation. As soon as you create the project, so this the basic code, or the basic the template, right? The code template, it will be created automatically at the time of project creation. Okay, so now the next thing is how the data binding is done. So guys, if you see, means if you look at this code, right, page. So page has one title property inside which already a data binding is done by default. Okay, so this is how the model name followed by greater than sign and directly the key name. So if you look at if you look at the earlier syntax for the JSON model, we need to provide slash and all, right? We need to provide slash, and then we can provide the index number and all, and then we can provide the property name. So that's how we were following in case of JSON model. But in case of resource bundle, or in case of resource model, the data from which file we are getting it, okay, that structure of the file is completely flat, right? So it's not stored inside any object. So we don't have to use any slash in this case for the data binding. Okay, you can directly mention the model name followed by greater than sign and the followed by key name. That's it. Okay, only this is the change. Only this is the syntax that we need to follow in entire application development. Okay, is that clear, Manish?
Oh, okay. So I18, this greater sign and that key. That's it.
Key
We
name.
have to
Yes.
whenever we are, want to fetch it from the resource model. Okay.
Right. Right. Okay. So
Okay.
now let's consider they have binded the title property, right? So title property, it's already there here. Okay. Let's consider instead of app title, I'm going to maintain, or otherwise, 1 second. Let me run this app first of all. Okay. I'm selecting third option. Okay.
Why this project everything is red color like cross sign?
Yeah, actually the thing is that, so there are a couple of libraries which are not maintained, a couple of extensions. It's not able to identify few controls, or see, for
Mm.
example, the search field column. I don't know why it is getting highlighted, because it's working, right? Yesterday only we have tested it.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay.
I have seen this issue in licensed BAS also, not in the trial, in licensed also I have seen this.
Okay. Okay. Otherwise, it's running properly. So I don't know why. Just here, only the sign it is giving, but otherwise it is running properly.
Yes. It's not the same case with the BAS. We have never seen this issue in BAS. If it is not there, right? If there is any syntax error, then only BAS will highlight. Sorry, the web ID will highlight. But in BAS, it's totally different. Not sure. Maybe still it's under development, or still SAP is working on that. Okay. So now as of now, what is the default text it is displaying for the page title? It's app title, right? Because this app title text, it is already maintained. Okay, 1 second. So this app title, this text is already maintained for the title property. Okay, so let's consider instead of the app title, if I'm going to maintain the title as product details. Okay. So now if you look at the page, right, see automatically now what will happen, it will take the text from the i18 because the binding is already done, right? Can you see now? It's
Yes.
getting the text from the i18 file. Okay. So let's consider now I will just replace few of the hard coded text which we have added for the button. Okay. So instead of this hard coded text, I will maintain all this hard coded text in one place. Like uh, which button is there? BTN update. For BTN update, I'm just providing this text. Then we have BTN dialog. Okay, let's consider for that. I'm going to provide open dialog.
There shouldn't be any space between equal to sign, right? It should be.
Yes, don't provide
Okay.
any space. Okay.
Okay.
If you provide also, I don't see that it will create a problem. It won't create any problem. It will work. Okay, so the third button, it is for sign up. Okay, fine. So now what I'm going to do, whatever the hard coded text I have provided here, right? That I will replace with the data binding.
And also, it's easy to maintain and reusability. You can reuse those
So
text also.
why we are maintaining it in one place? Because let's say in the future also, okay, in future if you're going to provide a support or any developer if he's going to provide a support, so rather than checking in view.xml file or any controller file, he can directly go to the i18n.properties file and he can make the change, right? And once he make the change, automatically that change will be reflected in all the places. Means let's consider you have a close button. Okay, a button which has a close text, and that close text it is used in couple of places. So rather than writing the close text n number of times or couple of times, you can directly provide the path of that data binding, right? So once you write the close text, same text you can use it in n number of places. Okay, so that data redundancy, right? That whatever your the same text that you're going to maintain, that duplicate text, you don't have to you don't need to maintain that. Okay, that same text you can utilize it in n number of places with the help of data binding. Okay, BTN sign up and you just provide it. That's it. Okay, so now once I reload, right, so automatically you will see the same text whatever we have maintained for the button. Okay, see it's getting from the i18. Okay, so now let's see how the language translation is done. Okay, so this was the basic thing about the i18. So it has two ways. Okay, one is from the controller and one is from the XML. So from XML, this is what the syntax we have to follow. Okay, we have to follow the standard binding syntax, and this is only the one way which we can use it in case of XML. But when it comes to the controller, right? So the syntax is somewhat different. Okay, the syntax is somewhat different when we consider it from the controller side. Okay, so we'll see that controller side maybe tomorrow. So today maybe we can only focus on this XML declaration, and after that we can look at the translation. That's it. Okay, so the XML side declaration. Any questions you have, Manish, in this? The
So
binding
it's
syntax and all?
no doubt. It's straightforward. I don't think so. There is something complexity. Is It's very straightforward thing to say.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So now let's see how the translation can be done. Okay. So for the translation purpose, let's consider we have the couple of column headers like product, supplier, price, dimension, weight, and information. Okay, let's do one thing. So let's create one new resource bundle file for the French. Okay, I'm just creating one more resource bundle file for the French language. Okay, so I'm just creating a new file. So the naming convention, it should always start with i18n. Then you provide underscore and then provide the language acronym. So for the French language acronym is FR. Okay, and then the extension of the file is dot properties.
Okay, we have to use acronym. We cannot write the French whole
No,
FRENCH.
no, no. Only language acronym we have to provide in
So
that
for
file.
German, so for the German, what should be there? DR.
DR,
D,
yes.
sorry, DE, sorry, DE.
DE or
DE.
something. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
DE is
that
there.
list is already available on the Google. So
Yes,
yeah,
yes,
you
yes,
can
yes.
check that. So you will get it. Okay.
Okay.
So now I've just created a resource bundle file for the French language. So now in this, what I'm going to do, so let's do one thing. Okay. So this product supplier and all I will maintain. So this I will follow a camel case. Okay. Let me do one thing. So one thing is there, so which I will explain it right now. Product equal to product. Then next what we have. Sorry. Then we have supplier. Supplier is there, dimension. And price, weight. Okay, price, weight, and then what is there? Information. Okay, fine. So now I have
Yes.
maintained 6 hard-coded text. Okay, so now the next thing what I need to do, I will just do the binding. Okay, first of all, I'll just replace that hard-coded text with the binding. We have added it, right? Yes, we have added it. Okay, fine. So the binding is done and now we should be able to see the output. Okay. So whatever we have maintained, right? So that only we are able to see. Only D and supplier, I need to check.
No, that is also maintained, but S is small, I think so.
Yes. Okay, fine now. Okay, so now the next thing is how to maintain this in French language resource bundle file. Okay, so across any resource bundle file, your key will remain consistent. Okay, your key will remain consistent. Only the value will change in front of the key. Means, for example, if you consider this product key, okay, see this product is nothing but it is a key. So this name, it will remain same in French also, in French resource bundle file. Only the value is there, right, in front of it, that will be changed. Because if you look at the binding, we have provided the key name, which is similar in which is already there in i18 file. But if you are giving a different name to the French file, so will your language translation will happen? No, it won't happen. Okay, so your key, your across the app, your key will remain consistent. Your key will not change. Only the value will change depending on the language. Okay. So now what I'm going to do, I will just copy all this. Okay, I'm just copying this. I will paste here. So now 1 second, let me open.
Google Translate.
Yes. Okay, product. So for product, this is what the text we have. I'm just going to replace that. Then for supplier, this is what the text we have. Okay, then we have dimension. Okay,
No need
dimension
to
is,
copy.
yeah, don't need to copy. Price. Wait. The last we have mention. It's the same only. Okay, fine now. Okay, so now as of now, we are not able to see any French language. Why? Because the default language which I kept for this browser is in English. Okay, so now let's consider the default language of your browser is in French. So what will happen in that case? Okay, let me first of all let me change the default language of the browser. You can search. There is a language option here. If you see on the top, the language is English as of now. Okay, if I move this French language to the top, move to the top, so automatically your browser's default language would be considered as in the French. Okay, so now if you reload this, now the default language of my browser is French. So now let's see the output. Can you see now output?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Automatically this is done, but only thing is that manually we have to maintain the file.
Got it.
Okay. So many developers, they were asking same question, how it is done. I don't know, yeah. This is written internally. It has been handled through the API.
Mhm.
Okay. So only the most important thing is we have to create the files properly, and the extension of the file should be properties, and the name of the file is very important. i18n underscore fr. Everything,
Got it.
everything should be in small case. Okay. Don't maintain capital FR and all. Nothing will work. It should be
Mhm.
proper. Okay. And then most
Okay.
importantly, the whatever the binding is there, like you have to create resource model and all, and that also plays an important role. Okay.
Yes, Avi. Got it.
Okay, so let's try to okay, let's do one thing now. So I'm going to do one thing, one small change. So let's consider my price property is not here. Okay, so this property is not available as of now. So what will happen in this case? Any
I
idea?
think it will take English only, not
Yes.
English.
Yes, it should take default. It should always see if that property or that key is not available in the French. So automatically it will go to the default language file. So some text it will take it from the default and some text it will take it from the French.
Its
Okay, that you
preference would be French only, but I think if we don't found, then it will take price only.
yes. If that key is not available, right, in that French file, so automatically it will go and it will consider from the default language, default resource bundle file. Okay, looks like there is some issue. Oh, by mistakenly, I have copied or I have removed a model folder.
Okay.
See?
So by doing up and down, then my mistake is that.
Yes. By
Mhm.
mistakenly, I have just removed it.
Actually, it happens sometimes. We are pressing one key and we just go trying to scroll, so we forget that it's getting. Okay.
I'm just checking whether, yeah, now it's added. Let me see now whether it's loading or not. It's not working now. Okay, it's loading. It's loading. Okay. Can you see now?
Yes.
So this price it considered from the default resource bundle file, and rest other text it is taking from the that French resource bundle file. Okay.
Mhm.
So this is the case with the this concept. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I think yes.
Even that search option is also coming in that RECHERCHER, right?
By default, see this placeholder is there, right? So this placeholder, see for search, you didn't provide any placeholder as of now. Okay. So I didn't provide any value to the search field as of now. So the default
Mm-hmm.
text it's already coming from the standard as a standard.
Mm-hmm. Standard. Got it. Got it. Yes. Yes.
So that standard only yeah, that part of text it's automatically it will render. So that you
Mhm.
don't have to take care. But let's say if
Okay.
you're manually providing a placeholder, so that text we need to maintain.
Maintain.
Then only it will
Okay.
be translated. Okay.
Got it. Got it. Okay.
Okay. Fine.
Mhm. Mhm.
So
Yeah.
yeah, Manish,
Mhm.
we
Mhm.
can we can close for today then.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll speak. Thank you.
Yeah, maybe tomorrow we'll cover, but so far, yeah, tomorrow, not tomorrow, maybe in coming Saturday we
Yes.
can
Yes.
take this, we can complete this within 1 hour, this
Yeah.
resource
Sure.
bundle and formatter concept, and then we can move to navigation.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Bye. Bye. Good night.
Yeah. Bye bye.